H3 trailer.
1980 Kubota.
Oh, I like that too. So it's a batch process. You go to the tanks and you go to each tree and put it in this machine. And we're pumping it upstairs.
Pump it up into the head tank with the sump pump running off the generator.
And then there'll be gravity feed down into the evaporator.
Regulated by float box, just like a toilet.
Now we don't have to worry about it later.
So Charlie, what's happening in this tank right here?
Yeah, so the sap comes in through this float box, comes down from the head tank, the 400-gallon head tank. But right now, we don't really have that much sap because the weather's been poor, so it's only too bad here.
Yeah.
So it flows down through this hose into this float box. It's got a float valve right here, so that's it. So the boiling action of the sap inside doesn't affect the float.
Okay.
Right, so that's the float, and there's the arm that controls the valve that's down in here.
Well, isn't that clever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It flows into the evaporator.
Wow.
This handle right there is actually on a plug, because you can run it from one side or the other. You just got to throw a plug in the right side.
Yeah.
So the sap's coming in way over here. You see it's pretty close to water right there.
Yeah.
But it has to travel the entire length to the back, underneath this divider, and then the entire length to the front again. So as it goes, it gets more and more cooked.
Okay.
Right? It establishes a gradient over time.
Yeah.
Still doesn't really look like much, but that actually does get quite a lot of the water out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Down through another valve into another float chamber.
Oh, amazing.
So you can put it there.
Wow.
And then into this front one.
Yeah.
Where it goes all the way to the front, across, all the way to the back, across, etc., etc. So by the time it reaches the very end of it, it should be getting pretty close to done. See how different that looks?
Oh, yes. And that comes out over here, perhaps?
It does. It comes out over here. We'll test it with this hydrometer so we can see.
Oh.
It shouldn't be ready yet, and I'll test it anyway. I'll take a little sample off.
Yeah.
That's it. If that red line right there floats, it's done. It's not sitting on bottom, so it is floating, but it's not floating high enough right now. It's floating at about 54.
Wow.
It floated there. It should be done. So we'll pour that back in. We'll let it cook down some more. Mostly we just burned leftovers from the saw draw of the day. So sometimes the temperature will actually go up. So 0 in this case is the boiling temperature of water.
Okay.
So as the sugars condense, it takes more and more energy to boil it. So, I mean, when you look at it, it's either boiling is boiling, but as the sugars increase, the temperature actually climbs.
Okay.
And so when you get to 7 degrees above the boiling temperature of water, it's done. Now, so we just kind of use it as a guide.
Yeah, yeah.
But if that's all you have is a thermometer, you can do that, but you do have to calibrate it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
This is a filter right now.
Yeah, it's a filter box. So we'll pour this in here.
This is a filter material.
Yep. So see how that looks a little thin? We do that on purpose, but you do get little tiny bits of grit. That stuff won't kill you, but it's terrible on ice cream. So that'll filter down through there, and we'll batch it in there.
This is some of the syrup they've made this year.
We made 200 quarts last year.
Wow, 200 quarts.
Which would be just